Some of you may be surprised that I'm already back doing a live since we did one at 1:30 a.m. in the heart of the movement with Etherum. But let me tell you right now, right off the bat, we have a reason to be a little concerned here this morning. Remember last week how we were able to play on Friday the CME gap after we had a move up. We had a price drop off a cliff last Friday after the after the futures markets closed. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange went offline, and we ended up having a price depreciation. And then Saturday night and the Sunday, especially, we had that price rise for when the market opened back up. We could be in a similar case here with Ethereum, as now we're out of distortion here because the Chicago Mercantile Exchange closed on Friday night. Ethereum was around $4,000. Now it's up to that. It was up to $4,246. And right now we're back testing perfectly the $4,170. But what could end up happening here is we could gap down so that when the CME gap is, so that we don't have a gap when we open on Monday morning. Let's just put it that way. I don't know if we'll dump the whole 4% or not, but it could be a reason why, like XRP failed to materialize anything, even though it's holding the 328. So just hear me out. I'm not saying this rally's over, even if it is over, because we don't know if we can go another layer, if we can go back to double top 4,246. If we can hold 4,170, it opens up the window, which is our next layer at, and that would be the technical move here at 4,863. But in my good conscience, I also understand that it would be an opportunity if it wants to come down and lose this area to fill that gap area going into Monday. And then we could have an unbelievable breakout going into the new week, especially when the ETFs are online. The CME doesn't have that huge gap to come fill after. I mean, that's all big things if you're talking about Altseason. That would probably be a better alternative here. But I'm going to be honest with you. I hope it holds 4,170 and creates this massive gap up to 4,880, where we can see a clear definitive gap from like 4,024 all the way up to 4,880, knowing that maybe we would have an extreme dump down, and then maybe it would be from 4,800 back down to 4,000 instead of something crazy if we have a market-wide dump. But right now we have to remember, last week we were in the same situation, and we cautioned the whole audience when we had the big drop last week that this is an opportunity. And if you want to take a shot here before Monday morning, you can do that. Now, I don't know if it'll work the same way with the gap down, but that's what's been presented here with Ethereum. Not everything is left that. Like XRP has not left that right now. If XRP stays coasting here at 328 the rest of the weekend, 330, oh my God. It could be setting itself up for that move at 360 to start the week. But I'm just telling you, a cautionary tale here. After the big run-ups last night, there was significant profit because we were in front of it. So I'm back on the sideline since about 4 a.m., 4:30 when I woke up to take a piss. And just that's the truth. The way the market was going, Ethereum was going ballistic. But I'm stuck with the gap areas in my head. So I took that approach. So I want to see if we end up gapping down here, or if we can overtake. Now, if we overtake and we decide to run up to 4,800, I'm in a pristine position here with all this capital that now went from 46 up to 50 now after that little shot last night. And I'm in uncharted territories now on BitUnix with that amount in the portfolio. But I want to see what happens here in real time. I don't want to be tied down, and I want to be able to do it with an unbiased mind. So if we can hold 4,170 here, and then we end up breaking back up and we start pushing, what would I want to see? Start doing some of these areas, because we have not broken down yet, folks, at all. We've just come down to that first area, which is important. And if you're not part of Tom's Army and in the Telegram, I'll show you why I think it's very important for everybody who watches my content to join Tom's Army for the $9.99 a month and pay it forward to be in the community in the Telegram. I didn't do this until 375 members because of all the spammers. There's still spammers. There's still people trying to splice me. So a warning to everybody is that I will never send you a message unless you send me one. I'll never ask you for crypto. I'll never ask you to join copy trading in terms of you having to send me your crypto. So please pay attention. Please pay attention. But why it's so important for you to be in here before the live even starts, I said, good morning, everyone. With Ethereum breaking out overnight and pushing $4,246, first option is we backtest 4,170, which now we have. We don't know if we're going to hold. And hold and continue over to 4,800. Or we drop down to retest the 4,000 area with 4,080 as support in between. It's like 4,078, but it's a good, solid structure there. This is a danger area for correction on thinly traded weekend. A retake of $4,246 extremely bullish. As for XRP, still maintains $3.28, but hasn't garnered any further volume. If this remains, a correction on Ethereum could drop XRP to 320 or 306, but that's conditional on a loss at the $3.28. If we continue up, $3.60 is next technical target on continuation. Bitcoin remains at a tricky level, seemingly unable to flip 117,349 from resistance. If this continues to drop to 115.5K, may be warranted a break above 118,000 and target is 126. Drop below 115.5. We have 110, 106, and 91,000. Those are the supports. Be visual, be patient, be wise. Last but not least, XDC still failing to break above perceived rising wedge. If 0.0945 is not retaken, a drop to 0.075 is likely, assuming 0.088 support is lost. Have a blessed Sunday. I think that's an invaluable tool for everybody to be just seeing that when they wake up and not having to be like, oh my God, I have to wait for a live, I have to wait for content. It's all there. So, but now I'm looking at it. I'm looking for the next opportunity. BitUnix gives us such an opportunity because you can literally finesse the market in micro situations until you're ready for that macro hold once again. Or you can just have the macro hold and you can understand that even if you make a bad decision, it's pennies on the dollar. Like you're talking about 50, my portfolio said 50,400 and something when I was selling everything. And it's at 50,300 and this isn't a flex. This is literally to tell you what the fees cost me. I think in total the fees cost me $87 on almost $51,000. It cost me $87. And then on AI Vora, I've been testing it out, and I've been doing it in spot and leverage with only VeChain and Zill, and it's been flawless. It's been flawless. The fees on the leverage was basically zero, and on the spot, it's very comparable to BitUnix. Very comparable. The only difference is they don't use Fireblocks, but they're AI integrated with no clear or pertinent view that they're actually going to use Fireblocks. So I'm still skeptical on the sense of holding something there forever. But as far as the utility of it right now, it seems seamless. I'm trying to teach myself the AI integrated exchanges, and this is the early one with it, because I know we're going to have to stay up with the tech. So I've asked you guys, if you want to, you can let me know what you think of it. If you think it's a pile of shit or whatever, but I've had to talk to customer service and they responded right away. I've used the chat bot with I didn't have to, but I wanted to talk to them about what their rules and stuff were with password changes and that. Because most exchanges, if the integrity's good, and it's like this on BitUnix, they'll make you wait 48 hours before you can withdraw or deposit if your password changed. And so I did a test on there after I did my first withdrawal and deposit, simply just sending something from BitUnix back and forth. And then I changed the password and it prompted me and it said 48 hours and I made sure with the customer service that everything was exactly what I thought. What I was thinking, because I like to see how their responsibility is before something happens. So like when you use a product, always try to talk to the customer service before something goes wrong. Or before you make that first deposit. That's what I try to do now. But right now, Ethereum below 4,000. I don't think we'd be surprised here with the gap down. Now, some of these alt tokens, I don't know if they would particularly run, without Ethereum doing what it's got to do. Like, IOTA's at a gap now by 4%, or almost 5% this morning, but now it's back down. But I thought it was a great opportunity. A great opportunity to make some money overnight right there. I really did. And I even feel proud of what we did in our community, because before that rally happened, where everybody could have bought in for the 5 to 8%, and then they could have took profit, did whatever they wanted. We talked about all hands on deck there. We've talked about the circulating supply here with XYO, and then there's some stuff with the community where you can earn some that some have found. But then, I think that's a very invaluable tool. An invaluable tool. Would love to see some of you join Tom's Army. I know it's going to, if it starts to get red here or whatever in the alt, some are going to be like, uh-oh. But I don't think it's an uh-oh. I think we're just kind of shaking it out now. I think it's, with the way it ran up overnight, isn't it typical for a 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time? We give some grace on the weekend, so 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it can get a little shaky. But I want to see if because of the gap left from, and we're getting really good at this now in this community. We understand the Chicago Mercantile Exchange on Friday night when it closes. Oftentimes these gap areas, when we gap up on Friday, it becomes an opportunity to either take profit and re-enter going into Sunday night when it's a little evened out, or wait till that Monday morning rush. Or we've noticed if we have a big drop on Friday, we can take some bait and buy some, even if we're going to sell it on the open, or when we even out a little bit for the CME, because it's seamless. We seem to be seamless right now, understanding this process. So I feel comfortable right now coming in every day, understanding even the micro within the macro, because macro, we look phenomenal. Micro, we're just trying to build capital. And, it's a beautiful thing right now. But XRP's firmly below that 328. And in my title, I said XRP fails to break out as Ethereum hits $4,246. Is USA going to be used as liquidity or confirm Altseason? Either way, the USA can do both at the same time. But I do feel this morning we're going to be used as liquidity rather hard. And I haven't held my tongue about it. And right now, XRP, it's fallen. Some of this is starting to fall a little bit. Like, BAN was up like almost 8%. When I got, I'm not going to keep talking about my positioning. I'm just saying. I gave a pretty obvious outlier here of what's going on and my feelings. I think Epic could be one of those that has a big drop here if it happens. Not in a bad way, but just to validate these movements. Even if the big drop holds these areas, I just think, these are the ones that are going to start to show us some real back test. And I think the way it's set up, we just have to be honest with ourselves, and this is what's happening. And I'm not going to lie to my audience every goddamn day like everybody else does to try to make some cheap money. This is what can happen. It's still good, even if there's a little micro bad. We have a little bit of distortion here with the Chicago Mercantile Exchange closure on Friday. Just like last week I said we use it to our advantage, this week we still have to pay attention to the risk now. And I chose to take my money and put it in my pocket for the weekend. Not XRP or XRP Healthcare, but the slew of what I do. You guys know the decisions here. And I'm not a financial advisor, and this is for entertainment purposes only. So what I do with my portfolio, learn from my mistakes, for real. Also learn from the opportunities made, because we haven't retested 4,242. So if we hold 4,170, we could potentially run. I know we're below it, but this is how you have a hard retest. You don't just come down to 4,000. This is a hard retest. Just like XRP, this is a hard retest at 328. I know it sounds stupid because it's at 325, but imagine the strength XRP would show if it now bounces back to 328 and allows us to show us some wings opening to 360 to end the weekend, because that can happen here. Because remember, we're out of gap areas right now with Ethereum, so there's no reason that other things, if Ethereum doesn't break down here, now they can catch up. That's the beauty of this. Liquidity in the morning on the USA could simply mean a shuffle here in the morning. When the USA woke up, a lot of people start taking leverage. We get a 2, 3, 4% correction, and then we just continue back up. That can be the liquidity crunch. Right now, we're fighting. We're fighting. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it's just going to go straight up. These are the conditions that have to be met, and if they are, beautiful, because now we're back on board. Not in the sense of, hey, on the macro, but in the micro, we're back on board for a little bit more movement on the weekend. If not, we know the micro might be interesting because we're out of whack right now because of the CME closure on Friday where Ethereum's at. I love some of the micro movements, though. I love how they keep back testing. I love how the market right now is keeping it simple. Right now, we've had no distortion at all. Zero. We literally came up exactly how we thought. 3,554 back test. We had 558, but in real time it's 554. On the pattern breakout, we back tested it. Next area was up to 3,680. Broke out. The micro came back through and broke out again and back tested technically if you want to look at it from a standpoint of let's actually, that's fine, it's close enough. And then we went back up, broke above the next target of 3,860, back tested it, broke above the next target of 3,994, back tested it, broke back above the next target of 4,170. I don't even know why it's always over there, but it's always way out of frame. Shit. We broke over that target, back testing it. But you see how we have the extension into this target, so it could be something a little more than... Because this is going one of two ways. We're either back testing, and we're going to fly out to 4,800 here very quickly, or we're going to have to come back down into those lower areas that we broke out of before the weekend. There's no in between here. That's the beauty of it. Volatility is going to be special one way or the other. I am personally rooting for that push up to 4,800. And then we'll know a definitive gap down to 4,000. Oh my God, it would be a beautiful trading section. I think some of you who understand technical analysis could understand how profitable that area could be. So I'm personally rooting for a retake of 4,200 here on the thinly traded weekend. And we'll worry about the CME on Monday is what I hope. We are begging for it, but understanding that, you know, there's possibilities here. There's possibilities. I don't know if I said the intro this morning or not. Hi, Mimi. Oh, good. We're going to go to the farmer's market. So, I mean, we'll probably do, you know, another 15, 20, 25 minutes here this morning. But we did do the live at 1:30 a.m. So I just wanted to, you know, do a little bit of a live here this morning, knowing that I was going this morning too, hoping. But I want to see how this plays out here for the next, you know, 20 minutes or so with everybody. But I'm going to do this intro because I can't remember if I did one. Good morning. 10:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Saturday, August 9th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Not so great the next 3 days. It's going to be hot as hell and sticky as hell and humid as hell. Right now, what's the temperature? Already 80 degrees.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And it's already humid and sticky and yada yada. Good for the plants, good for the vegetables growing, but uncomfortable for
When are you guys
us.
going up to that place up there?
I think it's going to be 92, 96, 90, whatever. I don't want to think about it. But good morning, Dan, Marginal, Jesse, and Michael. Thank you, all three of you, for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. John Bugathorpe, welcome in. Defined Group, good morning, along with Tango. Thank you both for being in Tom's Army 3+ months with the XP Meteor. John Bugathorpe, welcome in.
George said
Defined Group, good morning. And I appreciate you for being in Tom's Army for 3 months plus with the XRP Meteor, and also being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Says good morning, fam. Hit that like on the way in. Wait a minute, what's going on, Mimi?
George said he'd pay for an Airbnb somewhere in October for my birthday.
Ooh, we just can't go October 10th, 11th, or 12th because T.O. be in Grand Rapids for his appointment with you know, the surgeon's appointment for his tube.
Maybe I can get one near Grand Rapids.
Yeah, but it would defeat the purpose if we do it at the same time because we're going to be for his appointment. No, definitely. We'll go somewhere. I'm all for a paid vacation. You hear that? Mimi and Poppy are going to pay for a vacation for Mimi's birthday. Mimi's going to be 41 years young.
Yeah.
Let's see. Amanda Arici, Joseph Euler, and Crypto Cooter, along with Crazy Paul. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Big Dog, good morning, along with Frankie Fresh. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Also, Frankie Fresh, say hello and good morning to your significant other, Janine. I'm so honored to have her in the audience watching.
Oh, this coffee.
So awesome.
Before we went to the play.
You know, the only thing I hate about this IoT, this IOTA chart, and I'll put it back on later. I'm putting the other one that I have on because that one lags so much. Even though it's my long-term chart, it lags so much and it pisses me off. So I'm going to put this one on.
We couldn't do it.
This is my micro chart. Oh my god, it even fell through the 2060. I'm thinking it held that. That was a support structure. I'm like...
So on a day that wasn't, you know...
Let's see.
Today's even worse, but if it was a day like one of the days last week where it was not so bad.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Because Ethereum's trying to be a champ here. There we go, that's better. 2060, I was going to say. Shouldn't have fallen through yet. Like some of these, if we don't... If Ethereum can push back here, and we get back above 42, we're going to give the altcoins. If you guys didn't get into something, I think there could be a slide opportunity, but I would be very careful here and hesitant until it gives us that signal. I know a lot of people are looking at XDC, but I continue to warn until we get back above whatever this rising wedge is, be careful. Be careful. That's a distinct setup in a rising wedge. I know it could be a rising triangle if it forms properly, but we need it to do something like, if we want this to be more like a rising triangle instead of a rising wedge, we need this to come out like this. And then if it dumps down here, it would still be like the 088. See, that would be perfect. We need it to come down to 088. Defined. We need this to come to 088 and turn this into like a rising triangle instead of a rising wedge. Right now, being a rising wedge setup is not good. And it's playing out as a rising wedge. And the reason I say that is because it's back tested exactly how you would on a rising wedge and got rejected 1, 2 here perfectly. Like it's perfectly, oh, and it's got 666 right there after 9-4. That's crazy. It's almost like, pay attention, this is doom. And then if it breaks down past 0876, imagine being able to buy this at 0.75 defined. If this breaks down and plays how it's supposed to, if it breaks down. Let's see the potential fully now. We had it down before, but I thought I was scaring to find, so I took it off. He's like, you son of a bitch, I do all this work and now you're attacking XDC. Everything's bullish but this one, what the fuck? Well, yeah, but it was the only one bullish when everything was bearish too, and we took advantage. But 0.72 defined, how's that sound for a buy-in if it breaks down? You smell that a lot more, XDC. I smell it. So we'll see what happens there. Amanda, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the X-Free Predictor, along with George Athanasov. Tanya, good morning, love, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years. What is that? 2 years. Yeah, with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. G Stock, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. That is my face superimposed on that emoji badge circa 2019 before this channel even started. Jan Allen D. Nicholas, good morning. And Tanya, I hope you're having a good morning so far and everything's going good. I mean, it's been a great bit of volatility here, so it's I like that everybody's here to try to stay ahead. XRP's fighting. Look at that. We're fighting. We're fighting this morning. Everything's trying to fight. XRP's back over the 328. Ethereum's over the 4,170. Like it. Like it. This one, more positivity will happen. People will start coming in. The more red they see, people will start not coming in. The more green, we get more and more people. Jay from X, good morning. James Dula, welcome, and says, here comes my new tree house in Tom's backyard. Can finally move out of my... Hey, the upgrade out of the box into the treehouse is good. BitUnix is no longer available to US, so you do now need a VPN to use it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what that means, but I've never used a VPN for BitUnix. And I traded at 4 a.m., so I don't know what you mean. That's part of their whole stick, is that you can trade anywhere around the world without a VPN or KYC. I mean, unless they get rid of the USA, but I haven't seen anything about that. Not sure. Dan got a pop-up the other day and screenshot it, then checked the website forums. It's no longer available in USA, not a supported region. Go look. Interesting. Interesting. I got back in using VPN. Yeah, that's interesting. I have not seen any of that. But would I be surprised? No. It happens everywhere. It's happened everywhere. So would I be surprised? No. Interesting. BitUnix has been great. Didn't like that I couldn't transfer off XCC to Uphold, but maybe that was Uphold. BitUnix customer service was excellent. Yeah. Absolutely. No, XRP is not tanking. It's retesting that 328 support in a very real way. In a very real way. Ripple case finally over. It's seeming like that. It's seeming like that. Frankie Fresh, hi Tom, loving your lives and your high positive spirit. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Janine. Hey, Define, see how that spelling is? Janeen. I don't know if I spelt it right when I was talking to you. But I always talk about, I talk about you a lot, Janine, even in the Telegram, because I think it's cool that Frankie Fresh's significant other, you guys are doing it kind of together here. You know, to build finance, you got to do it together. You can't just do it separately. Especially when you're trying to find the better way. Said my account could be locked and positions liquidated if I was to continue using in my what state are you in, Dan? Just out of curiosity. Because this is interesting. We got to stay one step ahead, you know. That's what ends up happening. One by one, they do this to us. What state are you in? This is great information. That happened first. It logged me out, and I was like, "I'm just going to tell them this is actually America Republic and not the Incorporated USA." That's awesome. I got the same message, Tom. Interesting. Very interesting. New York. Oh. I want to know where everybody lives because certain. Sorry, I got my mind thinking. I want to see if it's Alabama, New York is. Yeah, I wanted to see. Well, no, I don't need everybody's where they live. I wanted to see Frankie Fresh, New York is probably definitely a good reason. But Dan, I want to know where you live. I mean, if you don't want to tell us, you don't have to. But I want to see state-wise. Because there's a few states where we have this issue with exchanges. And if you're in a few of the couple of them, it's going to be a... Because my thing is they have the money service business license, the MSB, and that's from FinCEN, and that's what you need to run in the USA. And that license allows BitUnix to operate in the USA as a money services business, including handling digital currency transactions within the US. So it's available in the US. It's worth knowing they also have a list of restricted regions outside the US. They're registered by St. Vincent, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so, I mean, they've obtained the U.S. MSB license from FinCEN, and that's important because that's the money services business. So they're allowed to offer certain financial services, including money transmission and currency exchange within the United States. That's why you're not allowed to do certain things in the USA. But I stand, you know, as of right now, that license is intact. That's something that back in the day, BitGat and MEXC didn't have with the USA. They were operating without the licensing, and then they ended up getting shut down by the USA for users. At least we have the ability to see that. BitUnix does use... Yeah, Dan, you're in California, so I'm not surprised. California, New York, Texas basically operate out of their own fundamental understanding of their own laws. There's a couple others, but Las Vegas at times. But mainly, if you're in California and New York, you're going to have the biggest problem when it comes to exchanges with regulations, unfortunately. California and New York might as well be living in another country when it comes to the rules. But I can tell you they do have the proper licensing through FinCEN. And this isn't through like the normal, we're gonna report your taxes. This is through the money transmission. They do it in a different way of currency movement. So the USA basically allows them to do it because you're moving money via digital means from one place to the next as a digital. It's basically as a point of, it's a medium of exchange basically is how they consider it in the USA, to my understanding. What would happen in... Interesting. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens here. Yeah, Ohio's kind of getting like red tape, but I'm surprised. We'll see what happens here. I'm gonna have to start looking around for something that uses fire blocks now. Case closed and priced out at 330. What it? Why? I don't understand why you are looking for the... We're back testing at 3... I'm not sure why people get... Like, XRP's got to do it in 10 seconds. Everybody gets so, like KP, that's a perfect emotional response. That's going to get you in a lot of trouble in crypto, my friend. Slow the hell down. But I'm going to start looking for more... I'm telling you right now, we're going to have to look for more exchanges if this is going to happen. I did this before. And I'm going to look at more exchanges that incorporate fire blocks, but it goes deeper than that. Because we've got to find the right one that doesn't have high fees. So this is like a needle in a haystack. So AI, Vora with the crypto, with the integration, that's not the same. That's for some, that's different. So I'm going to do a lot of research here to see how we can expand this just in case. But it's, I told you, we always got to stay one step ahead. It happens all the time. Right now, I'm not worried about it. Until that license expires or they get it taken away, we're fine. It's just certain states are a pain in the ass, but there's always the VPN, so there's always that. But no, this is why it's good to be here too. It's more than just the charts. It's more than just what's happening. There's a lot of information we discuss in this community, and this is real information. And it's hard to find the information for the fire blocks on exchanges. So I can go to fireblocks.com and I know it'll give me a list of exchanges. This is how I found BitUnix to begin with. But we've got fire blocks. And there's some of them that you guys use that you should be happy about because they actually integrated. Like some of you hate crypto.com, they have fire blocks. And I hate the fee, so I only use it for my money storage, like with the crypto Visa debit card and things. But the ones of you who use Binance at least has fire blocks. Bitfinex, fire blocks. I don't know of any of them that are on here, though, that we're going to be able to use, and replacement is the problem. Because some of these are restricted in the USA. Binance has higher fee. Well, it depends what you pay for. I don't think we can use BitDump, can we? I'm going to have to do some research of what we can actually use. Yeah, this is going to suck, but we're going to stay... I'm not going anywhere from BitUnix, but I'm saying if something happens, we're going to have to try to stay out ahead. This sucks. I just get sick of these influencers posting clickbait videos every... I've seen and heard it all for 8 years. The influencers get... Yeah, well, why are you coming in here and trying to not... You know what else gives a bad name? KP, when you come in reciting the same old fucking bullshit about what every other influencer says, but you don't give me a chance. How about you go through my history or listen for 5 fucking minutes here? instead of going through your personal controversies of how everybody else is a douchebag, because I agree. If you stayed for more than 5 seconds and actually listened, you would know that's why I started this channel on March 24th of 2021, prior to the bull market, because I was sick of all these fucking lying YouTubers. That's why I started this channel, so I could help everybody free of charge. And then I got you in, got you out before the bear market of 21, got you in the exact bottom of 23, bear market, and 24 bottom drop out, so you get in a second time. I'm not some asshole YouTuber that pushes some bullshit. No, we've turned a few $1,000s into 6 figures collectively because we're not stupid, but we're also not pushing a stupid agenda. The last thing I do is tell you that it's going to go somewhere it's not. Right now, we're targeting the $4 area. It's not my fault. That's what's happening. But there's also the nuance here that we can break down. 328 is a very critical support. We break that. We got 320 and 306. If those break down, you got 298. If 289 breaks, you got a fair value gap at 250. Below that, you got a gap at 150. You've got psychological levels above. If we can hold this 328, our next move's 360 on our way to $4. That's not my fault. That's just the way it's set up. But the nuance here is that the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, we closed at a certain level on Friday, and now we're up, so we might gap back down. We might have a push up and then come back down to start the week. We could rally out to 4,800 and then decide to fill it, or just continue. So there's so many different things. But don't just come in spewing the same old reckless bullshit, because that just makes you sound ignorant. Because if you start commenting things from what the universal narrative is, you're not talking about our community. So I don't give a rat's ass what other communities are doing. That's why I do it better here. That's why we do it more inclusive. That's why we are the all-inclusive, positivity over negativity. We are trying to create abundance for all, not abundance for I. I understand these other people couldn't read a chart if it actually smacked them in the face. I understand that. That's why I do what I do. I gotcha. Well, guess what? I have my own way to, if you want to be a dick and not listen to reason. I was just trying to teach you a little something, but you come in here being a douchebag. That's fine. I'll see you in 24 hours, you cock. There you go. How do you like that? Syrian, you put him in for 1.8 seconds. I put him in for 86,000 seconds. How's that? I think 86,000 seconds is more appropriate. But no, I was trying to make a point, but I have to do that one time to see how somebody responds, because then I can just get rid of them. But thank you, Syrian. You were on top of it. You were on top of it. So, if you add the 1,800 seconds plus my 86,000 seconds, we'll see him Sunday morning. I always give somebody a chance. I want them to see the difference, because there is a notable difference. But guess what? I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to go to the farmer's market with Mimi. We're going to let this market play out. Right now, I'm happy with what's happened. Happy. If I was watching, we're not below the Mendoza line, so be happy right now. We're doing good. We're doing good. In fact, if we can hold 4,170 like we have that strong back test, remember, we can do what we got to do. But yeah, pay attention. Look for opportunity, because I will be all day looking for opportunity. Big opportunity. Thank you so much, Joseph Euler, for the $20 donation, and also being in Tom's Arm for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. And the $20 donation. That is insanely generous. I was a little outspoken to that last gentleman, but only for a reason. We either got to deal with it very quickly, or we got to let people talk their nonsense. But I wanted to give them a chance. But unfortunately, that person just wanted to troll. I know who they are. That's why I came out strong. They come in here and troll every now and then, but not on my watch. Be blessed, everybody. This was a great hold so far this morning, is all I'm going to say. So far, good hold. Good hold. Good hold. Hey, maybe we go up and back test and double top, or succeed here, because we back tested perfectly that 4,170. That was the first test here. Next test, get back above 4,249 and continue pushing 4,800. But be cautious. You've heard every reason why to be cautious, but every other reason to be optimistic in the macro. If you got other questions, I'll be in the Telegram, but also Nick, our technical advisor, does a fantastic job in the Telegram. So make sure all you